Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story of just absolute extremes. We're going to track the dramatic tale of an unexpected coastal transformation, really examining how a location defined by intense historical violence somehow became a modern sanctuary for one of the most laid-back cultures on Earth. This is Lawrencetown, from bloodshed to barrels. Okay, let's dive right into this. If I were to ask you, right now, to picture a premium, cold-water surf hub, a place where people are just incredibly dedicated to the craft of wave riding, where does your mind go? You might instantly think of Tofino on the West Coast, or maybe somewhere tucked away in Europe. But what if I told you that one of the most dedicated, high-quality surf communities is hiding right on the eastern shore of Nova Scotia?
Just 2,680 people. That's the entire population of this rural Nova Scotia community, at least according to a recent census. It is a tiny, quiet place. And honestly, that incredibly small population makes its modern status as a highly respected, heavily equipped surf destination really quite surprising.
Section 1, a surprising surf hub.
To really get a sense of how unique this place is today, we first need to look at its modern reality as a thriving, dedicated surf destination, anchored by the Lawrencetown Surf Company, which actually set up shop right here back in 2020. What's truly remarkable here is the sheer caliber of equipment moving through this tiny town. We're talking about elite, globally recognized surf brands, Sharp-Eye, Peisel, and Lost. These are shapers known for incredibly high-performance shortboards ridden by professionals all across the globe. And then you have Takayama and Bang, which represent some of the most prestigious, tried-and-tested surfboard designs ever conceived. It's honestly kind of mind-blowing that a small, rural shop is supplying East Coast surfers with this exact level of world-class, meticulously crafted gear. And they're equipping surfers for absolutely every single condition the North Atlantic can throw at them. Breaking it down, you've got shortboards for those intense, high-performance days when the swell is really firing, longboards like the classic Takayama Model T for mellower point breaks where glide is everything, and mid-lengths to beautifully bridge the gap between the two. The shop's stated goal was to put the best surfboards under East Coast surfers' feet, and well, they're doing exactly that. Geographically speaking, the whole setup sounds perfectly serene. Lawrencetown is located on the eastern shore, just about 8 kilometers due east of the entrance to Halifax Harbour. Today, it's this laid-back coastal escape right on the edge of the city, framed by crashing waves and salt air. But to truly appreciate this peaceful surf haven, we need to completely pull the rug out from under this modern picture. Because here is where the contrast gets staggering. On one hand, you've got this modern reality. Visitors buying ding repair kits, sun care, surf wax, and just fully embracing a life of leisure and ocean appreciation. But on the other hand, you have the reality of a British settler in 1754, hiding in a wooden blockhouse, absolutely terrified of deadly night raids. This exact same stretch of coastline was once a terrifying, violently contested frontier. Section 2, the fortified frontier. Because, long before anyone was paddling out into the lineup to catch a wave, people were literally fighting for their lives on this sand. This brings us to Father Lelouch's War, which broke out right around 1749. The geopolitical tension in the region was just immense. Edward Cornwallis arrived with 13 transports to establish Halifax, essentially projecting imperial power onto the landscape. And in response to this occupation, Mi'kmaq, Acadian, and French forces fiercely resisted the new British Protestant settlements. To defend themselves from this organized resistance, the British started erecting a massive ring of fortifications. And that tension is exactly why this specific town was even born. In 1754, Nova Scotia's Lieutenant Governor Charles Lawrence offered land grants to 20 families to create what they called Lawrence's Town. Now, you need to understand, this was not a place of leisure or a scenic coastal getaway. No way. This was a strategic military settlement meant to hold a highly contested and incredibly dangerous frontier. Section 3, Resistance and Retreat. The establishment of Lawrencetown happened right on the eve of the French and Indian War, and the settlement was immediately engulfed in brutal conflict. The pacing of this conflict reads almost like a historical thriller. Halifax is established in 49, Lawrencetown is founded in 54, and almost immediately, we're talking mid-May 1754, the town suffers deadly night raids. By August, the situation is so bad, the settlers are literally withdrawn to Halifax for their own safety. They eventually try to return and hold the line, but by June 1757, they face a total withdrawal. The settlement effectively functioned as a failing, terrifying military outpost. To give you an idea of why they had to completely abandon the town, we have to look at the visceral specifics of that mid-May 1754 raid. A large coordinated band of Mi'kmaq and Acadians, led by Acadian Joseph Broussard, traveled all the way from Chignecto. Under the cover of darkness, they launched a surprise night attack on the sleeping village. 4 British settlers and 2 soldiers were killed and scalped. And as the war dragged on, historical records note that the sheer frequency and intensity of the constant raids eventually prevented settlers from even leaving their own houses to gather firewood or food. They were basically prisoners in their own settlement.
It's just a complete inversion of the town's identity. Think about it. In the 1750s, settlers were completely abandoning the coast, fleeing to Halifax in absolute terror, just to survive the harsh reality of the frontier. Today, surfers are enthusiastically traveling from all over the world, flocking to that exact same coastline just to catch waves and soak up the natural beauty. Section 4, the modern community. So how do we get from a place you flee from in absolute terror to a place you enthusiastically flock to? Well, the area went through a bit of an identity shift in the 20th century as the coast was peacefully reclaimed. The name Lawrencetown was officially adopted in 1921, changed to East Lawrencetown in 52, and then reinstated as Lawrencetown in 1961. But the true modern rebirth of this community's identity, from a historical military fortification to a thriving hub of coastal culture, it really crystallizes with the establishment of the Lawrencetown Surf Co. in 2020. Just think about their mission statement for a second: building a surf community with strength, relationships, and knowledge. It is profound when you place those specific words against the backdrop of the area's history. 2.5 centuries ago, strength here meant wooden blockhouses, armed militias, and sheer survival. Today's strength means community, building authentic human relationships, and sharing knowledge about the ocean. It's a complete emotional and cultural reclamation of the space. Today's Lawrencetown vibe is the exact opposite of that closed-off, terrified frontier. I mean, the shop is open 7 days a week, from 9 in the morning to 9 at night. They offer surf lessons and rentals, making the ocean highly accessible to everyone, regardless of skill level. They're fully stocked with high-end wetsuits, leashes, traction pads, literally everything you need to safely enjoy the water. It operates as a completely welcoming, vibrant hub for both locals and visitors alike. So the big takeaway here is this: landscapes change. The way we as humans interact with them transforms entirely over time. Lawrencetown went from a fortified frontier that people were forced to abandon in terror to an elite, thriving coast that people excitedly flock to today. It really makes you wonder, what incredible hidden histories are buried beneath the sand at your local beach? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.